Hi, everyone. This is Evan at Stryd, and we are so excited to do our 2020 year in review, our recap of all the feature releases this year and how specifically they can help you with your running. And then we're recapping any features that you might have missed that you don't know that you're not using right now. I do want to start off by saying, as I usually do, if you are watching on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It will help us grow, and you can stay tuned for more content like this as we head into 2021. If you have any questions along the way, please feel free to ask them in the chat, and producer Kaylee will send them my way, and we will get to them at the end. But like I said, today is going to be talking all about Stryd 2020 year in review. So the new Stryd Experience. Today we're going to highlight all of the new Stryd features released this past year. We're going to explore the role each feature plays in the new training and racing experience. We're going to provide updates on any features that you may have missed, because there have been quite a few feature stryleases this year, specifically on the software side. Starting off, I would like to talk about the community. So many great Stryders have joined us on different platforms. On Instagram, we've grown from about 11.4 thousand followers all the way up to about 23,000 followers. Our Facebook group, the Stryd community, just under 11,000 to start the year, just over 16,000 now. And then right here on our YouTube channel, we've grown from about 2,200 earlier this year, all the way up to just over 6,000 as we close out the year. So it is much appreciated to see everybody following some of the information that we're putting out and joining us on these different platforms. One of the huge things related to the community and one of our latest releases is what we call internationalization. And this is expanding the Stryd experience in different languages. The Stryd experience is now available in English, Spanish, French, and German. And in 2021, we'll add new languages that impact the maximum number of Stryd users. So we were so excited to have this release just about a month and a half ago to expand the use of Stryd native language support, again, for English, Spanish, French, and German. And in 2021, we'll be looking forward to adding even more languages to help improve the Stryd experience. We're going to talk about a couple things today, and we're going to break it down into a couple specific sections. So the first section is going to be about planning training and the different features available on mobile and web. Number two is going to be about executing training, and this is going to be talking about mainly the watch support and the watch experience. And then the third thing we'll talk about is training analysis. So we typically talk about planning training, executing training, and then looking at that training. So we break things down into three parts. Then we'll also talk about our ecosystem integration in terms of the other platforms and how we've made progress there. So planning training. This is something that we think about not all the time, but it's something that's very relevant all the time. We normally think about running, going out and doing our daily runs. We think about post-run, looking at our stuff, but planning training is super important in terms of actually making progress, and we're going to talk about some of the tools that we have to help plan your training. So on the mobile side, we'll talk about the event planner plus race calculator. We'll talk about your power zones and training plans. And on the web, we'll talk about the race calculator, training distribution, suggested workouts, power zones, and training plans. So the event planner on mobile, we think that this is a fantastic experience, as this is one of our favorite releases from the year. I could probably say that actually about every single one of the releases that we have done. The event planner, we feel, keeps you motivated by staying up to date on your projected finish time and power. You can choose a custom course or from a list of verified courses, and you can customize race day conditions to dial in your exact targets. We think that on the mobile side, the event planner is super important, especially as we found ourselves earlier this year, have a lot of races with low availability. We saw a lot of people turning more towards time trials, and the aspect of time trials is that it is an event that is personal to you. It's individualized to you. So we thought that the event planner was a great tool to help you run whatever distance, whatever conditions, whatever course you might end up running that isn't necessarily large scale verified race. We thought the event planner was a great tool and a great option there. You can find that in your Stryd mobile app. The experience to add a custom course, add custom considerations in terms of weather, whether that's temperature, humidity, the elevation that you'll be running at, and then after you've added all that, it'll stick on your profile until that race day comes, and you'll actually see your time and your power fluctuate as you add more data into the Stryd system. Power zones on mobile, we wanted this as we've continued to refresh our mobile apps, and we will continue to do so in 2021. We wanted power zones to be very easy to find, and we wanted, again, to reiterate on our super great feature that came out last year, the Stryd's auto-calculated critical power. We want zones to be something that is very easy to access, so you can find this from your home screen in the mobile app. You can click in, and then you can see your zones very easy on mobile. It's quick access to your zone information from the mobile home screen, and with that auto-calculated critical power that we find is so impactful and so important to having a great Stryd experience, we want those zones to be able to change based off the actual changes in your fitness, and you have the most up-to-date information there. Training plans on mobile. This is a super unique and extremely tailored sign-up experience. If you have not already gone through the mobile app and added a training plan, it is such a fun, interesting, different experience, and that is really what we were going for. There are extensive options to fit to your specific training schedule, and the concept of power-based plans is that they adapt to your changing fitness. We had so much help from so many Stryd users helping us test this, and all the feedback since this training plan release has been super helpful. And we're really excited to keep improving and iterating on this training plan experience in the mobile and the web side. I think it is so fun, and it is such a unique sign-up experience. And again, if you haven't already gone through the sign-up experience on mobile for training plans, it is extremely fun to play around with that sign-up experience. The race power calculator. This is something we'll talk about now, switching to the website. Race power calculator is similar to the event planner. You can add a different course, you can play around with custom considerations, but we really think that there's a differentiation between the mobile side and the website. On the web, you can quickly create different race performance scenarios to plan your next race or time trial. You can find this, again, on stryd.com/PowerCenter. You can switch things very quickly between power targets or time targets. You can see if you upload a custom course or you have a specific verified course that you're loading up. You can see the elevation change, the pace change, and the power stays steady, so you can have an idea of how your race splits might look. We think that it's a really cool visual experience. The differentiation, again, that I would say is that the mobile is definitely there for some quick, very fast lookup. The web is really for that deep grain analysis, and we really like that differentiation there. It is very fun to be able to play around with different scenarios very quickly on the website. But the race power calculator is one of the great releases and one of the great sections of PowerCenter in general, and we think it's very fun to play around with that sort of data. Another thing that we have for planning training on the web is suggested workouts, and you can find this again on stryd.com/PowerCenter. If you go to the training distribution chart right next to your power duration curve, you'll receive custom workout suggestions based on your training distribution. You'll learn how specific workout types, how they work, what different examples of those are, and how they relate to your training goals. So the example here on the screen is that I clicked on my fitness, which is my critical power. I can see that my fitness score is based on my critical power and how critical power influences my training zones, workouts, and race abilities. And then suggested workouts for me specifically to raise my critical power are things like VO2 max intervals, lactate threshold runs, high volume easy runs, aerobic threshold tempo runs, and race-specific training. That all makes sense, but it's very reassuring, and it's good to have that sort of reminder there of things that if I was kind of unsure of how to target my improvement, my improving fitness, this is a great reminder to have there. Other thing that we have here, again, mimicking what we have on the mobile app, we wanted this to be very, very readily available, is power zones on the web. You can stay on top of your power zones for optimal training guidance, and these will, again, adjust as your auto-calculated critical power adjusts as well. But we wanted this to be very easy to find, a very, very regular mainstay on the home screen in PowerCenter. Another thing we have here is training plans on the web. The visualization here is so unique, and I think it's beautiful. It's gorgeous looking at your calendar on PowerCenter and just being able to see the different sorts of days and the different sorts of things and how they're organized. The user interaction here is amazing. Just to be able to drag and drop, change things based on your schedule. We think that it's a super, super fun experience, and we'll talk a little bit more about the planned versus completed analysis on the mobile side and the web side as well. The other thing we have here for planning training is we wanted to give some sort of guidance native in the Stryd app and the Stryd web platform. So one of our major releases this year was native training plans. We cover everything from base training to keep you just in general fitness, 5K specific, 10K specific, half marathon, marathon, and then one of my favorite things, the intro plan. The intro plan is one of the most fun Stryd experiences, and we'll talk a little bit more about that now. But you can find the native training plan, the sign up in the Stryd mobile app, and then you can review things in the mobile app and PowerCenter on the web for different experiences there. Stryd intro plan, we've done a couple webinars about this. We've talked about this a bit in the past. It's a 14-day plan. It tests different efforts all the way from 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. You have a 20-minute moderate section. You have a 5K time trial. These are interspersed over the course of 14 days, along with easy recovery days and different types of descriptions to help you not only understand all the aspects of the Stryd ecosystem and how to train with power, it teaches you all aspects of following a training plan. So we wanted this to be something that people could use over 2 weeks to really, really narrow in their fitness, get a very valid auto-calculated critical power. Or for somebody that is brand new to power but might have already followed a training plan, they can use it to understand the Stryd ecosystem and training with power more. For somebody who is brand new to Stryd but also brand new to following a set structured training plan, we wanted this to be something that you could easily follow and understand and walk away or run away with some knowledge at the end. And we wanted this to be a very interactive experience. We think that this is one of the most fun and useful aspects of the Stryd ecosystem, specifically in terms of the training plan. And we are really, really appreciative of everybody who has gone through the intro plan already. We think that it's a fantastic, fantastic addition and one of the key cornerstones to our software releases this year. We also want to talk a little bit about third-party imported workout support. So when this comes from planning training, we have the option to import training from select platforms like Final Surge, Training Peaks, and 2Peak, depending on what you are training for. If you are coached, if you are following a training plan from another platform, we want to give you the ease of access and ease of use to be able to import any sort of those workouts that you might find work for you. So we don't want to limit your options just to what we have as a native built-in training plan. We want to give you all of those options. And so the third-party imported workout support is one of the great other functions of the Stryd ecosystem for this year. And we'll talk a little bit more about this later as well. Executing training. And I do want to also plug a reminder here too, as we get through this second of our 3 planning, executing, and training analysis. If you do have any questions, any thoughts, and any sort of general questions, please feel free to send them along and we'll tackle them at the end of the webinar. Executing training. So we'll specifically talk a little bit more in depth about Garmin and the Stryd Apple Watch app. So on Garmin, we have the Stryd Zones data field, which is always undergoing continued improvement, and the Stryd Workout app, which is brand new for this year. The Stryd Apple Watch app has been a great experience for people using the Apple Watch. I run with the Apple Watch every day. I absolutely love it. It is a fantastic, seamless integration with the Stryd ecosystem. We'll talk a little bit more in depth about both of these features. So the Stryd Workout app came out for Connect IQ 3.0 launches initially, and we're really excited to, again, continue working on this stuff as we head into a new year. It allows you to expertly execute power-based workouts on your Garmin watch. We have visual and vibration alerts. We've guided power-based workouts in that workout import support. We also have extreme customization options in terms of your data screen. We really wanted to understand what other apps are out there, what other data fields are out there, what other good experiences are out there specifically on the Garmin side. We did a ton of research, a ton of testing, and we felt really, really confident with our release and then continued improvement on the Stryd workout app. So this was one of the most fun, most tested releases that we did have this year. The Stryd app on Apple Watch, again, it did not come out this year, but we've put constant work into the Apple Watch and that integration in terms of ease of use. You have near limitless customization options with the Apple Watch, and we've heard from many people say that the Stryd plus Stryd app on the Apple Watch is the best running experience out there. It offers seamless integration with the Stryd iOS app. You can import your daily training with ease. All it takes is stepping out the door, making sure that you are connected with your Stryd. You can either wait for the GPS or you can run indoors. And then with a press of a button, you have today's training ready to go, and it steps you through all of that. I cannot think of anything that makes my workout days less complicated or more fun than using the Stryd app on Apple Watch. It is a great experience. And so if you have an Apple Watch, don't run with it. Definitely give it a try. If you've been curious about that, it is one of the favorite things that we get to work on and really improve on that experience. So training analysis. This is the third part. Again, we talk about planning training, we talk about executing training, and then we talk about training analysis. Training analysis, we have focused on, again, the software side for this year, and there are really a couple things that come to our mind when it comes to what we wanted to develop and what we wanted to release. We wanted stuff to be robust, we wanted it to be individualized, so we wanted every Stryd user to feel like they were getting individual support from the Stryd side. We wanted it to be unique. We did not necessarily just want to copycat stuff out there. We really wanted to think about what we wanted to see in terms of training analysis. We wanted things to be very focused, so very hemmed in on exactly the type of experience we want to deliver. It needs to be easy to understand, and most importantly, it needs to be impactful. We want to show you things that don't leave you with more questions than when you started. And so impactful was that one of the last things that we really wanted to consider. And all of these are equally important, but this was our goal and our focus when it went into developing training analysis. So training analysis expanded. What does it actually mean to analyze your training? I definitely like to take a step back every now and then and think about what the whole point of visualizing training, what the whole point of thinking about your training actually is. Our entire Stryd ecosystem provides incredibly in-depth individual workout analysis, second by second power data, by the extra Stryd metric data, whether that's leg spring stiffness, ground contact time, vertical oscillation. You can see how your power changes uphill, going downhill at different paces. We can see air power percentage contributions. We have a incredibly in-depth ability to look at individual workouts and individual runs, no matter what they are. We want to be able to show you historical trends across multiple aspects of your fitness. And so training is not necessarily just reviewing the run you did that day. We need to look at training load. We need to look at how things are building, how things are regressing, how things are moving. Training is all a moving system, and it's very dynamic. So we wanted to be able to provide that sort of analysis as well. And we also want to be able to provide easy to understand trends and insights based on your own data. And then I would put a footnote here as well. We also want to be able to provide you if you want to compare to other people too. So we'll talk a little bit about that on PowerCenter there. PowerCenter 2.0, this was one of the biggest releases, one of the biggest overhauls and refreshes. as the team was talking about this stuff, it was funny to think back to PowerCenter coming out this year. It seems like it has been a whirlwind of a year in terms of releases from our side, but PowerCenter was one of the biggest refreshes that we have had, and it's one of the most fun things to use, in my opinion. Talking a little bit about different sections on PowerCenter here. We have the My Training bar chart, which is one of the most eye-catching aspects when you get dropped into the web version of PowerCenter. You can inspect your past training load. We can look at things like ramp rate. We can see that trend line. We can dive into details with the default of running stress over the last 90 days. We can change all considerations around like distance, duration, elevation. We can change the time frame. We can compare different things. We really want to give you a lot of insight and ability to look at your own data under the considerations that you would like to. We also have, on top of the My Training bar chart, we have your CP history graph. So we can look at changes in your critical power. We can see the percentage improvement and the percentage decline, really just give you that extra layer of information and insight on top of your data. This helps you keep track of your fitness improvements over time. And again, you can customize any sort of the time ranges that you do want to change things by. Running stress balance, this is one of the things that is also in the Stryd mobile app, but we have this kind of as a cornerstone, literally up in the corner on PowerCenter. It can help you monitor your training load and analyze past training trends to help plan better for the future. So we can see just graphically here a great sort of progression of me adding some training load and then taking a little bit of time off, watching that rise back, and then watching me smartly dive right back into that training trend. So running stress balance is specifically being able to interact with it on PowerCenter and be able to mouse over and look at all those different numbers. It's a great experience. Training distribution. This is something I referenced a little bit earlier, but you can see how you stack up and compare to similar Stryd users. The comparisons are dependent on you and similar runners, depending on what race you say you're training for, and then age and gender listed in your Stryd user profile. We have things like fitness. Again, that's that critical power. We have muscle power, which is your peak 10-second power. We have fatigue resistance, which is based on the event that you say you're training for, and then your endurance as well. So training distribution leads into suggested workouts to help you understand how to improve these facets of your fitness and your running ability better. The power duration curve. This is, I wrote this as the third point here, but this is one of the most important tools and fundamental concepts in training in the entire Stryd ecosystem when it comes to power-based training. It helps you fully explore your unique running data. It gives you optimum control and insight into your abilities. And again, I will restate that it is one of the most important and fundamental tools in the entire Stryd ecosystem. We have a gorgeous interactive experience when it comes to actually viewing the power duration curve, and we have very easy to understand graphics, a great comparison feature. One of my favorite things to do is inspect different time periods, whether that's 2019 versus 2020. I'll have a great base and understanding as we head into 2021 of what I accomplished in 2020 and how I might be able to improve upon that. Then we also have the modeled curve, the auto-calculated critical power model curve that you can toggle on. It helps explore your modeled fitness, so what Stryd thinks you're capable of. It helps you compare your actual running data versus your theoretical, and it helps find gaps in your training. So we can look for different areas where you might not be filling out that power duration curve versus your modeled curve. If you have a target of improving your critical power, we can shoot for a very specific number on the auto calculated critical power model curve and try and overshoot that to help bump up our power duration curve. But the auto calculated critical power model curve and the power duration curve in general are two of the most important things to understand in the Stryd ecosystem. And it is, again, a beautiful interactive experience on PowerCenter 2.0. Post-run analysis on the web. We offer, again, training plans, imported workouts. We offer, a lot of this revitalized new training experience. And on the web and mobile, we have some different different ways that you can view stuff. We'll talk about the web first, and then we'll talk about mobile. So after the run, this is what a run that has been supported with an imported workout or a Stryd training plan will look like. We can dive into the planned versus completed. And the experience here is so unique, and we are so happy to go through this process of designing from the ground up what we really wanted to see in terms of features here. So we can see some beautiful illustrations. We can also scroll down and look at specific sections and highlighted sections and really, really understand, were we a little bit above, were we right in the targets, were we a little bit below, how do things change, what does the workout look like as a quick sort of summary, but then as we want to get into the details, how does that stuff look as well? Again, gorgeous, gorgeous display here, beautiful sort of interactive experience, but a lot of clear, concise information up front with the ability to dive into that data and really, really understand and really, really try and get to the bottom of how we want to keep improving from the running training side. Post-run analysis on mobile. Again, planned versus completed. This is actually, this workout here is the same workout here on mobile. So we can see they look very similar, but as they're presented and as you're able to interact with it is a different experience. So on the mobile side, it's incredibly interactive and it's very, very fun in terms of the post-race or the post-run experience to be able to click in and look at different workout steps, look at how you hit your targets, look at those metrics during those workout steps, be able to scroll through all those different metrics, look how things change based on those workout steps as well. So very, very fun interactive experience. If you have not already tried this, I recommend signing up for a Stryd training plan, following it for at least a week or two, and just seeing how this experience kind of makes you think differently about training and helps you understand different parts about your running that you had no clue of until you actually sat down and looked at the post-run experience here. We also have improved tagging. So tagging on our side is a very, very simple and easy to use check-in in terms of post-run. We help you track the important quick pieces of information, and this enables extremely powerful use of insights. So after a run, you'll just simply tag your run type, the primary surface you ran on, the shoe you ran in, the effort and feel in terms of perceived effort, and then how you felt. And then if you want to add any custom tags, you're more than welcome to on the bottom section there as well. So improved tagging was one of the things we had this year, which enables the extremely powerful visual concept of insights. So we have things post-run depending on how you tag your run, depending on what type of run you did, depending on how that run actually went. We have things like showing a power duration curve for that run versus your 90-day power duration curve, any sort of bests you might have set during that time. We have time and zones, we have feel and RPE, surface type and run type, that breakdown over the last 7 days, your sort of shoe mileage. So we have shoe tagging support that we'll talk about in just a little bit. We have your recovery. So if you've told us it's an easy run or recovery run, we show you how well you're actually recovering based on your running stress balance and your RSS, your running stress score over the past 7 days versus 42 days. We have weather in terms of temperature and humidity and your averages over time. So we have really, really powerful insights. And again, this is the insight release we had this year. We are so excited to keep adding more and more onto all of this stuff as we head into 2021. We have trends as well. So trends are incredibly fun, and looking at the beautiful, simple display, you can really, really get in depth with sort of filters that you want to see, but you can look at the key patterns that help boost your fitness, and you can customize, again, trend filters to look at recurring trends or explore a new trend in depth. So for example, every Wednesday, I run an hour easy. And so one of my filters is just pulling up my Wednesday runs between 50 minutes and 70 minutes and looking at how that trend is going, looking and seeing, if I'm usually wearing the same shoes or running on the same surface, how is my ground contact time looking? If I have a certain hard workout on a Tuesday and I need to take a really, really easy recovery day on Wednesday, how do my advanced metrics look there? How is my vertical oscillation? Is the surface type I'm running on actually changing? How is that that influencing my metrics? So really getting in depth on the trend side is one of the most fun things to do, and setting up custom filters is one of the most powerful things that you can use in the Stryd ecosystem right now. And then again, shoe tagging. We can help you keep track of shoe mileage. You can never overrun the lifespan of a shoe again. You get reminders, and you can filter runs based on shoe choice as well. So this was one of the little bit smaller but more fun releases too, just having a shoe list in there, hearing the feedback from Stryd users about what shoes they want to see added, and then seeing what shoes people are running in, what shoes that you can help yourself keep track of in terms of the lifespan and stuff like that. Last part here is ecosystem integration. So compatible watches right now in the Stryd ecosystem, we have the Apple Watch, Coros, Garmin, Polar, and Suunto. We talked a little bit more specifically about Apple Watch and Garmin earlier, and we really think that all of the partners that we work with in terms of the ecosystem integration are very vital and key to expanding running with power, and we're so happy to have this much support from industry partners as well. New in 2020, I do want to take a second to highlight the Coros integration. So this was brand new for this year. We have full Stryd metric support, native support for Stryd. We have support provided across a wide range of Coros watches. We have automatic data syncing, first-class pace and distance support from Stryd as a sensor supporting Coros. We have customizable data screens. We have syncing of Stryd and the auto-calculated critical power directly to the watch, and then you have power-based structured workouts on the Coros side as well. So a great new industry partner in terms of the native watch support from the Coros side, and we can't be more happy about adding more support for Stryd as time goes on. And again, third-party ecosystem integration, we talked about this in terms of third-party workout import, but again, Final Surge, Training Peaks, and 2Peak are some of those third parties that you can use in terms of the ecosystem integration. We want to close this out before we get to any questions that anybody might have before we wrap things up with a thank you from all of the Stryd team. We are really looking forward to a great 2021. And we could not do this without your support. Those either watching live, watching after the fact, or people not watching, still want to say thank you to anybody who has helped support Stryd this year. And we are really looking forward as a whole team towards a great 2021. With that, we'll go to the last slide here for questions. It looks like we had a couple come in, and this will definitely be a last reminder for anybody, if you're watching right now, please feel free to ask any questions. And if you're watching after the fact, please feel free to drop them in the comments. We will always look at the comments and any questions that you might have after the fact. So first one is from Tom. Regarding the Intro to Power training plan, how closely do you have to follow the prescribed workout? For example, day 1 is 10 minutes very easy, 2 minutes very hard, 10 minutes very easy. Can I extend the warm-up to 30 minutes and the cool down to 30 minutes, but still do the 2-minute very hard somewhat in the middle? We do really want the intro plan to focus specifically on the hard parts being very specific. So whatever fits in your running schedule, whether that's reducing volume or slightly increasing volume, whatever you can do comfortably to make sure that those efforts are appropriate and in line with the effort we're looking for, helps us give you the best information. So we want good in data so we can give you good data out, so good in, good out. And we really think that the basic prescription on the intro plan is to help you accomplish over a 2-week period an array of efforts and over different intensities. So whatever you need to do to individualize it and personalize it for you in order to get enough running volume for your day-to-day training, we think that that is totally fine, as long as the efforts are in line with what the prescription is in the intro plan. Next question is, should more experienced runners not do the Intro to Power training plan? Yeah, this is a great question. We think that the intro plan is appropriate for runners of all abilities, runners of all experiences, and it is a fun way to test different efforts across 2 weeks as well. So we do think that the intro plan is valuable and vital to understanding the Stryd ecosystem, understanding training with power, but then also helping you get a valid auto-calculated critical power as well. Next question here is, does one have to calculate CP based on running shoes? So the Stryd auto-calculated critical power is what we believe and we have the most confidence in terms of giving you the most valid and correct data. It might be interesting for you in your own analysis to follow trends changing between shoes, but it is not necessary to calculate critical power based on your specific running shoes. But we do highly encourage you to use Stryd's auto-calculated critical power and then always tag your runs in the Stryd mobile app afterward to get the most valuable insights and give us the most information so we can give you valuable information back. The next question here is PowerCenter, the splits table specifically, has a lot of acronyms without definitions. Where can you find definitions for each of these metrics? So we have a great Stryd guide where we talk about all of these metrics. You can go to stryd.com/guide. You can also find that in the mobile app under resources. The Stryd guide is linked there. We have a great explanation there. So this is definitely something we can pass on to the development team too. A lot of sections of PowerCenter do have a little tooltip and a little section where you can click on the eye with a circle around it, and you can get an article specifically on that section as well. Let's see here. Question is, any chance of replicating the same features on the iOS app for web-based? So this is a very, very interesting question, and I talked a little bit about this earlier. We want the mobile app to be something where you do your quick post-run tagging, you look at different sorts of data displayed differently than the web, and the web really as something to dig into data. As we continue into 2021, we're excited to keep developing more and more features and keep adding more visualization, giving more insights to you. We do see PowerCenter in the Stryd mobile app as a different experience, but this is something that we can absolutely pass on to the development team in terms of a request. But we do see the mobile app and PowerCenter specifically as a different experience in terms of looking at your Stryd data. We have another question here is stryd.com/PowerCenter/insights. So that is something we used to have in the previous version of PowerCenter before this refresh we had earlier this year. The training distribution chart took all of the insights and made it a more interactive, easier to understand, more guided interactive experience. It compared to the insights that we had previously. The insights we had previously were a little bit confusing. The graphical display didn't give as much clear, concise information. And as we refreshed things, we really wanted to focus on what information you could gather quickly, specifically from your Stryd data. So we think that the training distribution chart on PowerCenter is a great, great substitute for that. And we are very, very confident that that will give you more meaningful and actionable data as well. It looks like that was the last question. And so I do want to plug one last reminder here that you can subscribe to the Stryd YouTube channel. If you have not already, to stay up to date on webinars like these, you can go to store.stryd.com if you have not already to purchase Stryd if you have been curious and maybe this webinar caught your attention. Again, I do want to say one last thank you as well from the Stryd team. We are all looking forward to a great 2021. We wish everybody out there health and good cheer as we head into a new year. And we are looking forward to putting out more webinars like this as we head into 2021. Have a great one. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back with another one soon.